Hello, and welcome to Math Matters. I'm Miss Ogden, and today we're going to use what we've learned about area and circumference to solve a real-life problem involving finding the area and circumference of a pool. For this lesson, you'll need paper and a pencil or something else to write with. A scientific calculator would be helpful too. An iPhone, iPad, or a computer with access to the Desmos website would be great too, but it's not necessary. We'll pause for a moment while you gather those materials. Now that you're ready, let's get started. Take a look at the two circles on your screen. Remember, mathematicians are always thinking about how things are similar and different. What's the same? What's different? Take a moment to jot down any similarities or differences that you might notice. Let's take a look at what's the same first. You might have noticed that both circles have a blue circumference. You might have also noticed that they both have a diameter of 10 centimeters or a radius of 5 centimeters. Now let's take a look at the differences. You might have noticed that figure A shows the radius of the circle, while figure B shows the diameter. Mathematicians are always noticing the math that's all around them. Let's take a look at one example from the real world. Read the problem on your screen as I read it aloud. The Sanchez's are building a deck with a pool. If they are planning on building a pool with a diameter of 15 feet, how large will their pool be? Let's take a moment to think about what the question is asking and to look at the information that's already been given to us. We know that the Sanchez's are putting a pool in. We know the diameter of that pool is going to be 15 feet. We also know that the question is asking, how large will their pool be? I'm thinking that means how much space the pool takes up, or how much space the kids would have to swim in the pool. I know that when we are looking at how much space something takes up, we're talking about area. So I think the question is asking, what is the area of this pool? Now that we know what this question is asking us to solve, let's take a look at the formula for finding area. Area equals pi times r squared. I know that the r in the formula stands for radius, but I'm noticing that right now all I have is the diameter. I'm wondering how I might use the diameter to help me figure out the radius. I remember that the radius is half the length of the diameter in a circle. So, if the diameter is 15 feet, the radius must be 7.5 feet, or 7 5/10 feet, because 7.5 is half of 15. Now that we've figured out that the radius is 7.5 feet, we can use the formula A equals pi times r squared to help us figure out the area of the pool. We're going to take a moment and figure out the area. But first, I'm going to show you some calculator options. This is an example of a handheld scientific calculator. The pi button is located on the left side. In order to square a number, we have to press the button that has x with an exponent of 2. I'm going to model for you how we can find the area of a circle using a scientific calculator in Desmos. As you can see, my browser is set at desmos.com. I have the ability to use two calculators here. I'm going to choose the scientific calculator because I know that the area of a circle is A equals pi r squared. And the scientific calculator is the only one that has the ability to use pi. I'm going to click pi times 7 5/10, and then here's my squared button, equals, ta-da, 176 7/10 if we were going to round this number to the nearest tenth. I'm going to model for you how we can find the area of a circle using an iPhone or an iPad. The first thing I want to point out is that you need to make sure that your phone is turned sideways, horizontally in landscape mode. If I turn it in portrait mode up and down vertically, it's not going to give me the scientific function that I need to be able to find the area. So I know the formula to find an area of a circle is pi r squared. I am going to push the pi button, which is on the bottom row, kind of in the middle here. And then I'm going to push times 7.5, and then I'm going to square that number. The square button is on the top left in the second row. And when I'm done, when I round this number to the nearest tenth, I get 176 7/10. Now that you've seen a few calculator options and know how to use them, go ahead and solve for the area of the pool. Use your calculator if you have one. As you can see, when we substitute the values for the pool into this formula, we find out that the area of the pool is 176 7/10 feet squared. After the Sanchez family installed the pool, they wanted to include a plastic border around the edge of it so that it was smooth for them to get in and out of the pool. How much of the white plastic should they buy? Let's think. What do we need to do to figure out how much plastic border the Sanchez's will need to buy? Well, we know that if we're going to find the border, that means we're measuring the distance around the outside of the pool. We already know that that distance is called the circumference when we're talking about circles. To be able to solve this problem, we're going to need to find the circumference of the circular pool. You might remember that circumference equals pi times diameter. Take a moment and figure out the circumference of the pool on your own. Use your calculator if you have one. When we substitute the values into the formula, we find out that the circumference of this pool is 47 12 feet. That means that the Sanchez's need to order at least 47 12 feet of plastic border for their pool. Let's take some time to practice. Go ahead and find out the area and circumference of these two objects. Remember, the formula for area is area equals pi r squared. And the formula for circumference is circumference equals pi times diameter. Let's check your work. How did you do? In today's episode of Math Matters, we solved a couple of real-world problems involving finding the area and circumference of a circle. Today, take some time to look around your house and see if you can find something circular. Once you've found it, measure its diameter and figure out the area and circumference of your circle. I'm Miss Ogden. I hope you have a great day and keep on counting.